And I don't want this to sound trite, but let me explain how bottoms are made in any market. I don't care if you're in equities or in debt or in crypto or in real estate. You always need a big player to go to zero. But it always gives you a good bottom when you get a large player over-levered that goes to zero. And that always tends to be the beginning of the rebuilding process. So if you have to sacrifice someone who used too much leverage, and it's always leverage that does this, somebody's over-levered, positions are complicated, they're not transparent, they're not liquid, and they go to zero. Someone is out there on the brink of zero. That's okay. In fact, I'd argue that's a good thing when we get it. Now, do we get it this week? Do we get it next week? Someone's going to zero. I don't know who, but it'll be great for everybody else that survives because everybody will learn from that. And that's what I like about a washout, an event. And I think we're due for one in crypto land. And I don't know who it's going to be, but I guarantee you 100%, I've seen this movie before, you will learn later that somebody put on a heavily levered position. They got wiped out. And it's good. It's a good thing.
Investment in international and U.S. I got to ask for your reaction today.
Obviously, one of frustration. There's no question about it. I'm still a huge advocate for the potential of blockchain and cryptocurrencies. I'm disappointed, like many other shareholders. It sets, in a way, though, I always try and find what is the outcome of something like this. I mean, yes, I'm a shareholder in the international. That's a zero. It's not the first time I've made a bad investment, probably not the last time, but luckily I make more good ones than bad ones, and I learn from my mistakes. What's going to happen now is there won't be another situation like this for institutional investors ever again. We're simply not going to put capital to work until this stuff gets regulated. And what is occurring, and I'm just one voice in it, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to fly to Washington, and I want regulation. I want it now. No more delaying. I think this puts tremendous pressure on the SEC. I think a bill like the Stablecoin Transparency Act, which has been floating around forever, not going to signature, not going to markup, we got to stop doing this to ourselves. As an industry, it has to stop, but also it's time to move forward with regulation. And if this is the bottom of the crypto market. A massive player goes to zero, and now you build from the ashes. That's the upside. I am still going to invest in crypto. I lost money in the accounts there. They have a gate on them now. It doesn't stop me from buying more, and I'm going to do just that. I'm going to take advantage of the fact that most of these currencies and tokens and coins have absolutely been beaten into the ground as a result of this, and probably a buying opportunity. That's the way I look at it.
I'm kind of stuck on your comment that you're so confident that this can be the bottom. How can you be confident of that? What do you know about CZ, Binance, BNB coin? How do you know that it's not leveraged, that there are many more dominoes to fall here? We just had someone from another exchange who hasn't even published their board of directors. You invested in FTX, and that wasn't exactly a wise choice. You said you did due diligence, but clearly it wasn't enough.
You know, no. I mean, look, I'm going to agree. It was a terrible investment, 100%, and I lost my money. I get it. I'm a diversified investor. I make mistakes. This is one of them. But I learn from my mistakes. This won't be happening again. If I'm going to put serious capital to work in a broker-dealer, in an exchange, it's going to be one that's regulated, that has transparency, and has the same rules of test that every other exchange that deals in stocks and bonds has. Because, you know, everybody's saying the same thing. It's great to be a retail investor and trade a few $1,000s worth of crypto. And if that's what Binance is going to do, good for them. But every single institutional investor is going to look at this and say, okay, can't play with this structure anymore because there's not enough transparency. I'm going to wait for the SEC or whoever it is going to be, the Fed or whoever, to regulate this stuff. This is actually a turning point for this industry. It's a maturation for this industry. That's what's going to happen. The most advanced regulatory environment right now that I can find, the very first license ever granted worldwide, was to BitBuy, that is a broker-dealer attached to a crypto exchange in Canada. In my opinion, that is the safest place on earth to put assets. It's listed in Canada as Wonderfi. You're going to see billions of dollars leave unregulated exchanges looking for somewhere in the world where they can be put safely. In the meantime, I'm moving my assets off all unregulated exchanges, and we're putting them in Canada, where we can find a regulated exchange, company called BitBuy, public, and the name of the company is Wonderfi, that trades there. So we bought shares. We own a piece of the company, and so that gives us access to, the statements the company's making.